Hey guys, so I'm back and I'm here to share with you my no makeup look, which is actually my everyday makeup look. And some people have asked what makeup I wear to work, how do I do my makeup in the mornings, and this is exactly what I do to go to work. I don't do anything crazy. I just want to look put together and fresh, and this is actually perfect for a professional interview where you want to look pulled together but you don't want to look like you just spent an hour on your makeup. So if you want to see how I did this no makeup look, which is actually perfect for teens and for school and for summer, it's just a perfect look all around, then stay tuned and I'll talk to you soon. So I'm starting with a freshly washed clean face, and the first thing I'm going in with is a bit of eyeshadow primer through my brows. And I do this first because I do not want my skin to be moisturized just yet, because that will cause my eyebrow products to slip around. So I'm applying the eyeshadow primer first, and this is gonna really seal in the oils in my skin and prep this area for my eyebrow products, and that will make my eyebrows more long wearing. It will give the eyebrow pencil something to stick to so it will stay all day and not budge around at all. Then I'm just gonna grab my eyebrow toothbrush, and this is just a little toothbrush that I use just for my brows, and I'm gonna work that product through the hairs so that it's evenly distributed and I don't have any excess product lingering around, which can actually cause more problems than do good. So I'm just working the product through my hair, and then you can use a spoolie for this, but I find that the toothbrush actually works much better. Then once I have that, I'm gonna go ahead and apply my moisturizer, and I apply very little because I don't need that much moisture on my skin because I do have oily skin, but I always apply a moisturizer because I still need my skin to get a little moisture in the morning, because you know it dries out overnight and it does need some help. And no matter what type of skin you have, it's best to apply a moisturizer just to help your skin along so it doesn't overproduce oil. And for this I'm using my Algenist multi-perfecting pore corrector gel moisturizer, and it's oil free, it's very lightweight, and it absorbs really well into the skin without leaving a greasy after feel. Then while that sets, I'm gonna go in and fill in my brows very lightly, and I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and this is in the shade Brunette. And my brows are pretty full, and since we're going for a natural look, I'm not gonna overfill them. I'm just filling in the sparse areas, especially along the tail end of my brow. So I'm extending my tail just slightly, but I'm not overdoing it. I'm doing very short strokes, hair-like strokes, to create a natural effect, but at the same time I'm still giving definition to my brows. So I'm just moving through my brows, light feathery motions to define the shape and fill in some sparse areas. Then I'm just gonna grab my eyebrow brush, and for this I'm using my eye definer brush from Paula Dorf, which is just a flat edged brush, and I'm gonna work this product through my brows so there are no harsh lines. It doesn't look like I have a pencil just outlining my brows. It really looks light and as natural as possible. So just work the product through using flicking motions to kind of disperse the product and fade it in. And I always step back and look at my brows to see how they look. If they look too overdone, and just work through them. I'm using the spoolie end of the pencil now just to work it through a little bit more and set the hairs in place so it doesn't look too overdone. And this step is optional, but I like to do a little bit of clear brow gel just to make sure the hairs are set in place how I want them, because we didn't do any overfilling. So I want to make sure the brows stay put where I brush them into place. Now once my brows are done, I'm going in with a face primer, and this is Pores No More from Dr. Brandt, and it's a pore refining primer. And this is just going to really help our makeup stay in place. We're using very little makeup, so that's why I'm applying a primer. And this is going to set our face, so it doesn't get too oily. This primer is for oily combination skin, so it's really good for keeping your face semi-matte. And since you're not going to do too much powdering or anything crazy on your face, you want to make sure your face still stays matte throughout the day. So while that sets, I'm going to apply some eyeshadow primer to my lids. And I'm not applying eyeshadow, but my eyelids are really oily. So even when I'm not wearing eyeshadow or makeup on my eyes, it actually still gets greasy and oily. I mean, really, you can see grease lines on my eyelids. So I still apply an eyeshadow primer just to seal in those oils so that my lids don't get greasy throughout the day. Now we're ready for the foundation, and for this I'm using my Lancôme Fresh Wear Teint Idole foundation, and this is in the shade N1, and I'm using very little. I mean very little. And I'm just gonna buff that over my face using my Air Bouquet brush from Tarte. And as you can see, I'm not covering my face too much. I'm just trying to even out my skin just a little bit, but I'm not applying a lot of this foundation. And you want to choose a foundation that is very lightweight, or even go with a tinted moisturizer or a BB cream. You want something lightweight that's gonna mimic your skin and look very skin-light rather than looking overly made up. And I'm buffing this all over my skin to make sure I get all the areas of my face, because if you don't get all the areas, it's gonna look like you're wearing makeup. So get along your hairline, get in the corners of your eyes to really even that out and have an even application of the foundation, so it doesn't look like there are any transition areas, so there are no gaps where your foundation doesn't cover, and it's just gonna look like it blends evenly into your skin. Get down your neck as well, at the sides of your nose, and remember, you're using very little, but the little that you're using, you're really buffing it in over your skin, and I love this brush for that. So that's what I'm doing. I didn't apply too much, I applied very little, and even though my skin looks more even right now, it actually still looks very skin-like. And I'm applying a little bit over my eyelids as well. And see, I still have a little bit left over. I didn't use that much foundation. Now, since under our eyes can get a little dark, I'm just using the rest of that foundation on my pointed foundation brush from Stila. This is the number 33 brush, and I'm just applying it directly under my eyes in that dark area where it can look a little bit like I didn't get any sleep, and just blend that in. Now I'm gonna let that foundation sit on my face for a bit while I apply my mascara, and this is the part that is gonna look like makeup. This is the only part that is actually gonna show that you did put a little bit of effort into your look. So I'm applying my mascara. This is my Too Faced Better Than Sex, and I'm applying that pretty generously to my lashes because I want to have nice full lashes. I'm not applying any false lashes at all because after all, this is a natural look, but I still want my lashes to stand out because after all, that just looks a little bit better. It makes you look a little bit more awake and wide-eyed. So I'm applying mascara to my top, and then I'm just gonna put a little bit on my bottom lashes as well. And then to make sure that there are no clumps, I'm just gonna comb through my lashes using my Tweezerman eyelash comb. And this is just going to separate the lashes so they look a little bit more natural and not like you coated them in extra mascara. And be careful that you don't poke your eye out with this because this is pointy metal. Now that our foundation has set somewhat, I'm going to do my oily girl trick and just grab a single ply of tissue and dab over my face to absorb any of the excess oil or product that may be lingering, because again, we're going for a very light and natural look. So I just absorb the excess product with that. Then I'm going to grab my Fawn Cocoa Perfection powder from Marc Jacobs, and again my Tarte Air Bouquet brush. This is the one I use for powder, and I'm just going to tap it over the areas I know I get extremely oily, and that's in my T-zone, along my cheeks, and in my forehead area. And this powder is very light, so it mimics skin rather than looking powdery, so that's why I'm using this powder specifically. And if you don't have a powder like this, you might want to skip this step. You want a very natural looking powder. I'm also applying a little bit over my eyelids to set the foundation in place so it doesn't crease. And then for a little pop of color, I'm going to use my Hourglass Lighting Blush. And this is in the shade Mood Exposure, which is a very natural blush. So I'm giving myself a little bit of color without applying like a pink or a peach. I'm applying a very natural color blush, and you want to keep within the natural skin tone shades. And I'm just applying a very little bit of this with my Sephora. Which brush is this? This is the Precision Blush Brush number 73. And just blend that in, and you want to really blend that in so it doesn't look too obvious on your skin. And then I'm just going to go over that with my Kabuki brush with a little bit of the face powder still on it and blend that in. So what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of my Josie Maran Love Your Lips Argan Hydrating Lipstick. This is in Fuchsia Frolic. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of that on the back of my hand. It's a hydrating lipstick with like the hydrating part on the outside and then a little touch of color on the center. And I'm just going to grab it off the back of my hand and apply it to my lips. So it's going to give me a nice kiss of color, but it's not going to be like a seriously opaque lipstick. It's just a hint of color, and lip balm will do, but I find that this lipstick is hydrating like a lip balm, but it gives a very slight pop of color. So a little bit of color to make my face look a little bit more awake, a little bit brighter, but without applying actual lip color. Here's my before and here's my after. So there you go, guys. That's the completed look. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial, picked up some tips and tricks, and I'll leave a full list of products used in the description box below, so definitely check down there for any additional information. And as usual, I'll also leave links to my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages where you can follow me along there. And hopefully you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.